I was prepared to wait for months for my Canada visa, but guess what? It came in just 8 days. Yes, 8 days. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through the step-by-step method I took to achieve this. I'm going to be telling you all the documents I used. So in case you want to apply, you will know exactly what to do. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about how I was able to get my Canada visa in just 8 days. Yes, in just 8 days. You can look here for the evidence in case you think I'm capping. Yeah, I know getting a visa can be so overwhelming. You need so many things to do. You're thinking of how to get the documents, you're thinking of the steps to take and everything. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down everything for you to know. I'm going to be telling you how you can achieve this also in a very quick amount of time. So just stick with me and let's get to it. I know how stressful and overwhelming it can be when you're trying to get a visa, especially when you want to use an agent or something, they're telling you stories, delays and all that. I'm here to tell you that I actually didn't use an agent. I didn't use any shortcuts. I did it all by myself, and you can do the same too. So when you follow the steps I'm going to be giving out today, you're going to know exactly what to do. All right, so let's get into the full process. So if you're looking to apply for whether to visit family, to visit a friend, or you're going for a conference or tourism, this video is for you. Okay? So I'm going to be telling you every single thing I did, as I said earlier. I'm also going to be giving three tips I used that I'm sure helped me to achieve the success. So just stick with me to the end, and I'm going to be telling you the 3 tips I use. So first of all, the visa I applied for is the temporary residence visa. That's the visitor's visa. And this for people who want to visit Canada on tourism, on visiting family, attending events, anything like that. This is the visa that you need. So you have to put, your reason for travel. So for me, my reason for travel was to visit my husband. So you have to add that also as the first thing in mind. Why are you traveling? Some people travel for events, some people travel for conferences, some people travel to visit family, and some people just say they're traveling for tourism. So for I have my own reason also. So here is my timeline to show you exactly how everything moved. I applied on the 29th of January. I went for my biometrics appointment on the 30th, and my visa was approved on the 7th of February. This is 2024, by the way. I can still remember, just like yesterday, waking up to prepare for work in the morning and, going through my emails as usual, the habits we have, just going through our emails, going through social media before standing up to prepare for work. So I was just going through my mails and then I saw the message. I was shocked. I was like, what? I just applied. Like, how did this happen? But yes, it's worked out. And I was like, wow, 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 wow. I was in shock. I was in shock for like the whole day. Even getting to work, I was like, wow, because the way we do this visa thing, we don't really tell people. So I was just like keeping it to myself, and I was, oh my goodness, I was so blown away. My mind was blown away. So I thought to myself, why don't I share this knowledge with others? Because I wanted to also work out for you just the way it worked out for me. So let's get right into the documents. I know that's the part that we're all waiting for. The documents, what documents I used. So let's go ahead and break it down. So here is my full list of documents. First and foremost, you need your passports. You know that we all need to get our passport first of all. And then you go online to the Canada website and apply and get, the application. So you get an email and then go ahead and start filling the application form. So in the application form, they're going to ask you all sorts of questions. They're going to ask you about your family. They're going to ask you about your employment. How many years ago you've been working. They're going to ask you all those kind of questions. You're going to be asked things about your if you're in the military. They're going to ask you about your criminal background and things like that. So you need to be sure that everything is clear, and if whatever you're going to put, that it's good and true. And that's one thing we need to note. It has everything you put has to be good and true. Don't put any lies there. The lies always gets found out. All right. So for the first thing that I did, apart from the online application, is to write a purpose of travel letter. Then I also got a flight reservation. I booked a refundable ticket just in case, because these things, you can't really be sure. So I booked a refundable ticket. You'll pay extra to get that done. You can go to an airline, they'll tell you what you can do if you want to get a refundable ticket. So that was what I did. I booked a refundable ticket, and then yeah, well, I was lucky it worked out. And also the proof of funds. This is, of course, very important. We all know that this is a very, very important aspect. So, what do you need to do for this proof of fund? You need to show how much you've saved for the past 3 months. So, you show your account. So, it's always good to have, if an account, be an account that you plan to use for this separate from your regular account, or you can use your regular account. For me, I used about 3 accounts, I think. I had one account that had like the bulk of money, and then I had like other accounts because I usually have like different accounts. Like I have one account that's like my spending account. I have an account that's like my savings account. I also have another account that's my salary account. So what I did was to combine the 3 accounts and then presented it, because you can't just have a savings account where there's just like one money packed in that account, and then the one that like, are you not spending money? Are you not using money? Are you trying to say that for the past 3 months, you didn't spend anything, you didn't do anything? The visa officer is going to wonder. So you need to be able to show that, okay, this is your savings account, this is your spending account. If it's a salary account, you have to show, oh, it's my salary account, where money is coming in and going out, that kind of account. So that's what I use for my proof of fund. I have those 3 accounts. And also, you don't have to have, one huge money somewhere. Let me just tell you guys a secret. This is a secret. For someone like me, I actually used my wedding money. I was going to get married before traveling, so I used my wedding money. Before I started paying vendors, I just quickly, screen grabbed everything, got my statements and everything. Yeah, this is secrets. Yeah, so but I think it will help you also. Before I got married, I was just before I started paying the vendors, I just screen grabbed everything, put everything together, and you put it up in my application. Then after doing that, the next day I spent the money, paid for cake, paid for this, paid for that. So you can also do the same if you have that kind of money, or you can get maybe your close family friend or your family, your parents or anything to give you that kind of amount of money to keep in your account. People that trust you, someone trusts you and can let you put money in their account for that long, for 3 months. Anybody that trusts you that can, let you have the amount of money. Because as at last year when I did mine, I think I used about 5 million, 5 million naira. But now dollar has changed. Dollar to naira has changed. So I think it probably will be more. And I don't know the currency of where you're watching me from. I just talked about naira, but I don't know the currency you're using. If you're using Canadian dollars, I think at that time when I applied a year ago, it was about when I say $5,000 at that time. So now I don't know how much it will be then. So that was what I showed as my proof of funds. And also there's a place that you're going to write, like, is someone going to give you money? So I also would, that the person I'm going to visit is also going to be paying for part of my trip. Do you understand? So I had my flight tickets, and then I also showed that money. So it's not as if I'm telling them that, oh, I'm going to go and use that money that I have to pay for flights, and then they will be like, oh no, no, it just rings funny, like you're using that money that you want to use to spend in the country. You're using it to pay for the flight. So what else? What else do you have? Then they'll think like, oh, this person doesn't want to come back. So you have to have all these things separate. Okay. The next thing I did was to put my proof of employment or self-employment. So if I, for one, had a job, I had an okay job. It wasn't a very, big job or anything, but it was an okay job that was paying my bills, a good job for a reputable company. I was working in a very reputable place. So it was a school, a very good school, then again in Lagos, in a very good school in Lagos. That's where I was working. So I was able to show my employment letter. I used my employment letter that showed my salary. Okay, this is the amount of money that I'm earning every month. So I had that. I also used pay slip. I used my pay slips for 3 months. So you use pay slips for 3 months. I showed that, and that covered that part for me, using the employment letter and the pay slip to show my proof of employment. And this proof of employment to make them know that, okay, you have a job that you're coming back to. You're not going to run away when you get to their country, So you need to have that. Um, Also, one of the most important documents is your letter of invitation. Yes, letter of invitation is very important. Wherever you're going to visit, I have to send you a letter of invitation. My husband had to send me a letter of invitation, even though it was, going to come for the wedding and everything. It showed that, oh, he's the one that is going to host me, is the one that is going to pay for um where I'm going to live. I'm going to be living in staying in this house. So things like that. You need to show the person inviting you has to show that, okay, this is where this person is going to stay. This is what I'm going to do for the person. This person is coming to see me. This is my relationship with the person. And if you're going for a conference or an event, you need to get, the invites from the event or the conference or wherever it is that you're going to. They need to give you a letter of invitation. It's very important. Without a letter of invitation, you can't actually apply. So that is very, very important. And then this is a part that most people, shy away from. They're like, oh my God, how are they going to get this? That's the ties to the country. And that is a very, very important part. I've had someone that applied for a visa, but because the person couldn't show enough ties to their country, the visa wasn't given to the person. So this, you need to show ties to your country. What kind of ties? House, land, or things like that. I, for one, actually, I didn't have a house. I didn't have a land. My parents' house is in their own name. They were not ready to transfer it to my own name. I was doing my own thing as a grown up. So I didn't even tell them that I needed that. But I didn't even think of it as an option. So the next thing I did was to use something very important. People don't really want to think about this. When they talk about ties, people always want to think of house, land, this. But if you have a job, that's your tie. It's a tie to your country. It shows that you're doing something in your country. So for me, I used my job. So I got my boss, explained it to my boss, and she wrote me a letter. She wrote me a letter, stating that old person is going for leave to visit her husband. She's doing this. She's doing. She just wrote the letter and she stated the number of weeks that I'm going to be staying there, and those number of weeks also matched with the flights that I had already booked. So that's one thing you need to be careful about. Whatever you're writing, whatever you're presenting, they have to match. That's it. So the letter she gave me, the letter to show that I'm going for leave, it's like legitimate. Or this person has a job and this person what she's doing is for real, So she gave me that letter and that was what I used as ties to my country. My job. I have a job that I love. I have a job that means a lot to me. I have a job that I cannot leave. That was what I said. Yeah. Leave. Yeah, but that was what I said. That was what I used. So you can do the same. Yeah. So don't forget other documents like birth certificate, marriage certificate if you're married, and also letter of explanation. You need to explain anything that is faulty or something that is not clear. Rather, anything that is not clear in your application. When they give you the application and you find out that something is not clear, you need to explain it in this letter of explanation. Very, very important. Don't forget this. It's a very, very important document. So, what did I do in particular that made my application stand out? Okay, first of all, I think I would say that my purpose of travel letter, it was very detailed. I wrote exactly what I was going to do. I wrote, about things in Canada. I already had someone in Canada, so I had to, ask for places and stuff like that. So I wrote that I was going to visit Banff. I wrote that I was going to, go to the shopping malls. I wanted to enjoy the country. I wanted to, spend my leave in the country. So things like that. I wrote a very convincing letter. That's what I believe. I believe my letter was very, very, very convincing. So you should, look into doing that. Also, the letter of invitation matched the purpose of travel letter. That was one thing I believe also made it work. Secondly, my financial documents matched my story. So what I was saying, what I wrote in my letter or any, all the when they give you forms, everything that you'd have written, everything has to match. So my financial story matched. In my letter of explanation, I explained, the different accounts and what they were for. Okay, oh, this one is for my spending account. Oh, this one is my salary account. Oh, this one is my savings account. I was able to explain everything. You have to ensure you explain every detail. So I had a document just for that. I had a separate document just for that, just to explain it. So you have to ensure that you do that. You explain yourself very, very. It doesn't matter. You have to write it. If you feel like, oh, you're writing so much, don't mind that. Write it. Write everything. Explain every single thing. Okay, so that's a very, very important point for me. I would also like to say the third thing that helped me was the letter I told you guys about, the letter from my boss. That helped me very well. It did so much because she, in fact, I think let me just tell you guys, I wrote that letter. I wrote the letter and I gave her to sign because, yeah, that was my job as the admin. So I took my time to write it. So you should also do the same. Either you ask your boss, okay, can I write the letter? And then you just proofread and sign if it's okay. So for my boss let me do it. So for me, I had to write the letter, stating, this person is a very good staff. This person is, one of our good staff, but she's, had a long year and she just wants to, go and spend 3 weeks with her husband. She was very convincing in that letter. So I think that's also one of the things that helped me, achieve this and get my visa in just 8 days. So you should also try to do the same. Okay, now let's talk about the common mistakes to avoid. These are mistakes that even I almost made. So we should talk about that. So one of the things is submitting incorrect or incomplete application. We need to try to avoid that. We need to be sure that everything is complete, especially the form that you were given. In fact, if you don't complete one section, you can't move to the next. Yeah. So you need to ensure you write true things. If they ask you how many number of kids you have, if you're married, you have to state it. If they ask you, are you married, you have to state it. If they ask you about your parents, your family, your siblings, and all that, yeah, they ask all that. If they ask you, you have to state it. You have to be true. You don't have to mince once. You have to just put everything clear. And when the visa officer reads all this, they will know that okay, this person is genuine. But when you start having sketchy things, maybe you write something in the form and then in the letters or the documents you're writing something different and it doesn't tally, that's a problem. Also, there's a place you're going to ask you, oh, how much are you willing to spend in our country? You get, so you need to write that amount has to match the money that you said you have in your bank. But they're going to check all that. So we need to ensure that it matches and it's you know true also. Yeah. Another thing is using fake documents. You have to be sure you're not using any fake documents. If it is birth certificate, marriage certificate, everything has to be true. Everything has to be real documents. They usually check these things. I think they even have like a scanner. I think I hear that they have, so a scanner that when they put your documents goes through, it's just like it brings out fake or when something is wrong, when something is not tallying. So they check these things. So ensure you're using original documents, original birth certificate, original bank statements, not fake bank statements. It has to be with the bank's letterhead. Everything has to be there about the information about the bank. So you need to be sure that you're also using real documents, not fake documents. Okay, so are you ready for my best tips? The tips that I believe that when you use this, it will help you get your visa approved in 8 days. The first thing is to write what? A clear purpose of travel letter. Purpose of travel letter has to be clear, where you will stay, what you will do, and things like that. The person you're going to meet or what exactly you're going to do and when you're going to come back. So you need to what? Have it clear, very, very clear. And that tip I'm going to give is for you to read your documents thoroughly. Read it thoroughly. Like read it, and take your time in submitting. Don't just rush and submit. Take your time in submitting. And if possible, get someone that knows this thing to just read it for you. Read this for me. Like, is this sounding good? Like, is everything true? Is that just get another not paying anybody, but like a friend to like, okay, just let me look at this. Like, what do you think? Make sure that there are no errors. And for my third tips, just organize your documents like you're telling a story. From your finances to your ties, to if it's a job you're using, if it's the house you're using, you can, just talk about how the house came about or something, just organize your document like you're telling a story to, convince the visa officer and let the visa officer know that you're genuine. I'm going to be putting the full document list in the description so you can go through it and then, just check whatever it is that you have, or you would know what it is that you need to get. If you have any questions or you need help with the purpose of travel letter, you can ask me in the comment section. I'm going to be replying. Also, if you want me to send you my own purpose of travel letter so you can look at how I did it, you can also ask me in the comment section. I'm here for you. Don't worry. I am here for you. All right. Thank you very much for sticking with me up to this time. I really, really appreciate it. So just watch out for my next video. I'm going to be telling you all and showing you guys the process of how I was able to move from a visitor to a PR. So just look out for that video. And if you're wondering, who is this lady? I'm just meeting you for the first time. Who are you? Watch this next video to know who I am and know everything about me. Until I come your way next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Mwah. Bye.